And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, after last night's Avs game, we were talking so much about Jokić and, two-time player of the month. The Broncos have won 9 games in a row. That's the equivalent of a 86-game winning streak if you compare it to baseball.
Of course, there is no comparison, but that's a story for another day. Okay.
And we will get into this. The real question is, are the Avalanche the best team in town? And is Nathan MacKinnon the best player in this town?
Wow.
Right now?
The best player in this, or the best team in this town. That's a tough one for me because
wait. For as much as we fawn over Jokić, and rightfully so, is it Nathan MacKinnon who is actually the best player in Denver right now? You want to think about it?
I will think about it for just a moment, and I've thought about it.
Let's get to it in a minute. Save it.
Okay.
Save it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because right now, I know it's early. I am thinking, just me, even though it's early, I am actually thinking about Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Really?
I can't get enough of those things.
I got the place for you to go.
Where?
The Sportsbook Bar and Grill, DTC Highlands, now in Parker.
Yes.
As the best Philly steak egg rolls in existence.
They are, actually.
I know that.
And their blackened chicken sandwich, that's the best in town as well.
Wow.
And their burgers are absolutely unbelievable. And it's a great place to watch games. My friend Judson, who is one of the owners of Sportsbook, he and I talk every once in a while. And we were speaking on the phone yesterday. And I told him that I didn't do the show for a couple of weeks because I've been having some health issues. And I said to him, he goes, "Yeah, I haven't seen you on the air for a while." And I said, "Well, I haven't seen you either. Do you ever show up at any of your sports bars? Because you're always at Avalanche games or Nuggets games or something like that."
Well, good for him, man. Good for him. Those guys are sports fans. So.
Huge sports fans. And I'm telling you, you want to go to a bar that was developed not by big corporations. You want to go to sports bars that are developed by sports fans, Judson and Jeremy and John. And they do an absolutely amazing job with great food. The service is fantastic. The space is unbelievable at all 3 locations. That's exactly where I would go for any sporting event or just for lunch. I mean, they're busy during lunch. They do takeout all the time. It really has everything under one roof. So head on over to the Sportsbook Bar and Grill. You can find them in the DTC, Highlands Ranch, and Parker. Hold on, Bruce. Your thought is coming after the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Give you just a wee bit of setup with what is going on, not that you don't know already, with what is going on with the Avalanche right now. They beat Vancouver last night. No real surprise there. The Canucks are not a very good team. The Avs now lead all of hockey. They led all of hockey before yesterday's game, but now they have 44 points. They are 14-0-3 over its past 17 games, and they've outscored their opponents 76-34 during that stretch. They have also joined the 1979-1980 Flyers as the only team in NHL history with 1 regulation loss through 26 games. So the Broncos, and we'll get into that, and we've talked about it, already, all the milestones that they are hitting. But the Avalanche are hitting historic milestones now.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we're at different points of the season. The Broncos are at the back end of their season, where the weight of importance of games becomes far more significant each time that you play. But the Avs, you cannot deny what the Avs are doing. You use the term historic. I think that's no question. That's correct.
Yeah.
So when you start to think of it in terms like that, it would be hard to argue against the Avs, who, by the way, are about to get Val Nichushkin back from injury as well.
They did.
Yeah, right. So he's back. And
well, think about this for a second.
No.
Think about this for a second. You have Val Nichushkin, who had missed his previous 8 games.
Yeah.
The Avalanche have had trouble winning games consistently without him on the ice. And their record without him for 8 games, 7-0-1.
Yeah.
And by the way, Val Nichushkin playing on the third line.
How weird was that?
Third line. Having Val Nichushkin play on your third line, I'm trying to think of a way to put it with the Nuggets. That is almost the equivalent of, I don't know, the Nuggets' fourth best player consistently coming off the bench.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this. Find me a weakness that the Avs have. Power play. Maybe they're not good in shootout, overtime situations. I mean, if you really want to split hairs, you really have to want to split hairs. Hell, you might want to split the atom on that one. But they just don't have any weaknesses. They've got 2 top line goalkeepers.
Yep.
By
the way, good for Scott Wedgwood for wanting to come back for another year. This guy could have made so much bank not signing with the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't understand, and I'm not out at Avs that much, but I don't understand the thinking behind Wedgwood signing for another year and his agent wanting to sign for another year, knowing he would likely be the hottest goaltender out there by far.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
good for him, though.
I mean, good for the him and better for the Avs, right? Yeah. I mean, no question about it. But from a standpoint of their scoring depth, they have demonstrated ability 4 lines deep that they can put the puck in the net.
Yeah,
they're better from the blue line now than they were a year ago. Burns has been a really nice pickup.
Oh yeah,
they've got those 2 guys in the net. And you've got MacKinnon, Makar. You've got guys playing at a really high level and knocking on wood. And it's always good to knock on wood when you say this about the Avs. They've avoided injuries. Val Nichushkin notwithstanding, they've generally avoided injuries to this point in the season. We're 26 games into this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a third of the way into this, basically a third of the way into this season. And they're like, the Avs are like the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA. I mean, I liken them. They're very similar in those regards. So I would guess at this particular point, I would give them the nod over the Broncos.
Oh,
I mean, I think that you have to give them the nod over the Broncos, even though Sean extrapolates things in a little bit more interesting fashion. The difference between a 17-game season and an 82 or a 162-game season isn't even worth discussing. So, I'll tip my hats to all of them. But if you're asking me to pick the best team in town right now, it'd be pretty hard to argue against the Avs.
I'm not suggesting what I'm about to say is apples to apples here, but in the third period alone, last night, specifically midway late into it, I understand the Canucks are not a very good team, but I'm watching Parker Kelly just dance around the ice like nobody can touch him. Kiviranta is taking everybody off the puck. This is their fucking fourth line.
Yeah. I mean, even I can recognize the talent that they have deep down the roster. When you have a fourth line that can score, I mean, I always remember your first 2 lines you win, in the regular season. Your last 2, your bottom 2 lines is where you win in the postseason, and it makes. The more I become familiar with hockey and the more I really enjoy the sport at the NHL level over the years, you see that, and they've just got it going. And look, I give Jared Bednar a lot of credit, but I give more credit to the front office, who really, when Sakic and McFarland have really gained a total understanding of how this had to have been restructured, and they've done it. And they've done it. It's been a brilliant piecing together of this team. It started last year. I thought that they were a really good team last year, but they were still putting the pieces together late in the season. You didn't have guys having played together by the time they had gotten into the playoffs, that you had this kind of roster, but you didn't have this kind of experience with one another. Now they've got that, and my goodness, it's
well. Listen, you bring in Brock Nelson around the trade deadline, right?
Right.
He needs some time to get used to his teammates.
Yeah.
And they brought in a lot of guys, at the trade deadline. But now they had a full training camp together, and Brock Nelson has been unbelievable.
Look, Dallas is still real, and they're playing well, and the Avs are playing so well that you don't pay much attention to the other teams around them. Dallas is still an issue, but I will ask the question: in a 7-game series, how do the Avs lose?
Injuries,
right? And so a third of the way through the season, I'm going to be pretty careful about getting out ahead of myself, because especially in the NHL and the way that the game is played in the NHL, injuries are the scourge of late season runs, right, even for the best teams.
Right.
But in the here and the now, with what we're seeing, who beats the Avs in a 7-game series? With all due respect to Dallas at this point, who I think is probably the second best team in the NHL, I just don't see it. Even with Dallas's postseason hold over the Avs, I don't know.
I'm going to dumb it down for you.
Yeah.
Who beats the Avalanche in a 7-game series? How about who beats the Avalanche in 1 game in Denver in regulation? Nobody.
It may not
hasn't happened.
happen. It may not happen. Right. Yeah. 11-0-3 at home now?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 11-0-3 at home. It's they've got points in 25 of 26 games.
Oh, I mean, let's look at the other teams compared to the Avs. So, I mean, I'll just cherry pick right here.
Sure.
When it comes to, bringing his team back from a deficit, Bo Nix has tied John Elway.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. With 5 games to go, you have Nikola Jokić, who is on a historic run all by himself. Back-to-back Player of the Month award.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, what has he done in those back-to-back months? I don't know, 29 points a game, 71% shooting from the floor, 45% shooting from 3-point range. Excuse me, I shouldn't say the last 2 months, over the last 19 games.
Right.
Over the last 19 games, 29 points a game, 71% shooting from the floor, 45% shooting from threes, and his plus minus is 207. Now, Nathan MacKinnon can very easily say, hey, Nikola, hold my beer. Okay? This season, 5-on-5, when MacKinnon is on the ice, the Avs have outscored their opponents 37-9. And, oh, by the way, just for fun, if you're curious at looking at stats, when you look at plus minus in the NHL, the top 5 guys are all Avalanche players.
Right.
That has never happened in the history of the NHL, where 5 players from the same team have finished in the top 5 in plus minus. The closest is the Red Wings back in the 1990s when they had 4 players in the top 10.
Here's the thing that differentiates in the argument between Jokić and MacKinnon. And I will take a page from my good friend Eric Goodman's book on this. We continue to talk now. Look, we're starting to talk about MacKinnon in a different light, because this kind of stuff that they're on right now is historic, right?
Yep.
We've used that term, historic. Jokić is in the midst of an historic career.
Yeah.
And if you're making the argument that he's having one of his 2 best years in an historic career, then I think that you've got to give the nod. If we're playing this game, you've got to give the nod to Jokić, because Jokić continues to be a guy at the end of the day that will be in the conversation of greatest players to ever play in the NBA. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 or a top 3 or a top 10, whatever, but he will be in the discussion of the greatest players to ever played in the NBA. Maybe Nathan MacKinnon gets there. He's got a lot of distance still to make up from a historical perspective. But Eric, he's the best player in the game right now, and it isn't even close.
Right. For both of these guys, it will come down to championships if they want to be mentioned in that rarefied air. Jokić needs to have one more title.
Yep.
MacKinnon needs to have 2. And the reason why I say that is, you look at all the guys who have won 3 or more titles in the NBA, it's not a very long list.
No.
It really isn't. In the NHL, the list is much longer.
Right.
From Gretzky to Messier to Curry to Bossy, to, I don't know, Steve Yzerman, Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
There are more than a few guys. In the NHL, it just seems there have been more runs historically by teams, whether it's Montreal or whether it was the Red Wings at times and other teams that Edmonton. The Islanders that have gone on runs.
Right.
Denny Potvin and Mike Bossy won 4 titles in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
People forget about the Islanders because we've had the Edmonton's run and
right.
But I mean.
And the other thing for Jokić is, it's not a knock on Nathan MacKinnon. He has done it longer. He just has.
Yeah.
When MacKinnon came into the league, it took him years to get to 100 points.
Yeah.
Now he is fully in his prime. MacKinnon is. Jokić has been there for about 2-3 years.
And the thing that's remarkable about this, and you and I talk about this a lot, about the age that we're in right now for the players that we're able to follow in Denver. There aren't 2 players that I would rather watch in either the NBA or the NHL than the 2 players that are in Denver, Jokić and MacKinnon. They are the 2 most can't miss guys in their respective sports right now. It's like Bonds and McGuire in the summer of the home run. You had to stop everything that you were doing every time that they were up. It's not different right now. It's like, okay, I don't need to watch the Nuggets. I'm just going to watch Jokić here for a few quarters, or I'm going to watch MacKinnon skate for a couple of periods. It's kind of can't miss television right now. It really is. Those guys are playing so much better than really anyone else in their league, and they're doing it in the same city, in the same building.
Something else to consider as well. Only twice in the history of sports has 2 guys in different sports in the same city won the MVP. We have been through this back in 1989. It was Gretzky and Magic Johnson.
Right.
And then Jokić and MacKinnon did it a couple of years ago. Jokić and MacKinnon are better today than they were a couple of years ago when they teamed up for MVPs.
Agreed.
They're better now.
Well said. Yeah, absolutely right. Right now, I don't know. The NBA is weird. And you and I have had these conversations over the years about the NBA and the way the MVP is voted on and what the influences are by certain voters. I understand that. It's fine. But it would be pretty hard at this point right now to be thinking in terms beyond Nikola Jokić and Nathan MacKinnon. Even with Oklahoma City with 1 loss, I understand, and SGA is the defending MVP. Even with that, I would think right now the 2 clear MVPs in their respective leagues early in the season, right, are Jokić and MacKinnon. Maybe it's a little closer in Jokic's argument, but MacKinnon right now is just on another level. He's even in his incredible career and having won a Hart Trophy, the guy is playing on a totally different level even for him right now. So
here's something else to consider. And you almost have to wonder why. Listen, we talk a lot, and I understand it. We talk a lot of Broncos, and rightfully so. This is a Broncos town.
Sure.
But here's the ultimate, really. But now understand, it has to end with the championship, and I understand that. But this is what else is so unbelievable about this Avalanche team. The Golden State Warriors eclipsed the Chicago Bulls for the greatest regular season record of all time, which many thought was impossible when the Bulls went 72-10, right?
Yep.
Okay. The New England Patriots are the greatest regular season team of all time when they went 17-0.
Right.
The Colorado Avalanche are on pace to finish with the best regular season record in the history of the National Hockey League.
That's an amazing thing to think about. Really is. Yeah, and
by the way, not to jinx it, the team they'd be surpassing are the Boston Bruins. Who did not win the title the year they had the best regular season record because of the most points.
It can happen.
And by the way, and the Patriots didn't win the title either.
Happened to the Seattle Mariners. That one year they won like 116 or whatever it was. So,
but riddle me this. And listen, you and I put together the show. We could talk whatever. We could talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's not just us. It's pretty much everybody else. I'm talking about podcasts or radio sports talk shows that talk about everything. We talk about everything. We're not Broncos specific or Avs or Nuggets or Rockies specific. If we were Rockies specific, no one would ever watch this show.
They wouldn't know we had a show.
That's right.
Right.
I'm hoping people know we have a show right now.
I would hope that's where we're at. Right.
Okay. So with that, how come this city does not talk more Avs considering this run they're on, which is historic when you put into perspective of the National Hockey League, not team history, NHL history? Why don't we talk about hockey more?
Because it's still, and this is just my opinion. I could very well be wrong and could be talked out of it.
You know what I find funny, Bruce? When people start a sentence by saying, well, this is my opinion. Who else is it? Is it somebody else's opinion? Of course it's your opinion.
It could be someone else's opinion.
Right.
I think that there is still I don't want to minimize it by saying a niche quality to the NHL, but there is a provincial quality to the NHL. The ice hockey, yeah, right. Hockey is not as universally followed and enjoyed by the sporting masses in our country, like basketball, baseball even, and football. The sports that we all grew up with. Now, look, I know that Canada claims hockey, and I get it, but it's a sport of the world. But I just think that in terms of the provincialism, it still has more of a provincial feel. It's really important in some pockets, in Minneapolis, Boston, New York, anywhere in the Northeast, we get that. Anywhere in Canada, that goes without saying, but there are pockets of it in other parts of the country. Like there are Broncos fans all over the United States, right? Yep. They show up in huge numbers in Washington on a Sunday night, for God's sakes, and make it sound like a home game for the Broncos. That doesn't happen in the NHL. To my way of thinking, you just don't have that. I mean, you and I talk about it all the time. Cowboys, Steelers, Bears, the Packers, they all have crowds all over the country. So to me, that's probably the biggest difference.
Coming up after the break, I'm going to ask you a quick question. I don't think I'm spoiling the tease here, although I could be wrong. I'm going to ask you one simple question. Give me a yes or no. Is Bo Nix a top 10 quarterback right now in the NFL?
No.
Can you think of 10 quarterbacks you'd rather have on the field starting a fourth quarter?
Two different questions.
That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Here's another great promotion from Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk. On December 13th, it's their annual holiday auction for a pair of Super Bowl tickets, tools, jewelry, electronics, toys, and kitchen appliances. Earn auction currency with every locked-up jackpot, players' points, or a daily cash drawing. There's so many ways to earn currency, and the more you play, the more you'll be able to bid and win what you want at their auction. So get up to Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos and start stacking your auction currency today.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Before we get going, I want to tell you about Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. And with the snow today, I hope your heating is working. If it is not, highly recommend you call them. We needed to work with Ferguson's Heating and Cooling probably about, 3-4 weeks ago. We called them. They were out here same day, fair price. Didn't sell us something we didn't need, which I love. Before that, we had a problem with our hot water heater. Guess what? They were out at our home. Same day. Fair price. Didn't sell us something that we didn't need. This is the type of company that you want to work with. There's so many companies out there in this particular category that want to sell you something you don't need, because that's how they're going to make money. They don't make a ton of money fixing things. They want to replace it. And that's not the way Ferguson's Heating and Cooling works. Go check them out, fergusonsheatingandcooling.com. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Fair to say that no reasonable person would say Bo Nix is a top 10 quarterback in this league at this moment.
No, not at this moment.
Are there 5 quarterbacks in the league you'd rather have on the field in the fourth quarter more than Bo Nix?
Probably not.
So how are we coming to this assumption that he's not top 10, yet in the fourth quarter, there are very few guys you want on the field more than him?
Well, the fourth.
How are we measuring quarterbacks these days?
Right. That's a fair question. The most direct answer to that is the fourth quarter is 15 minutes and a football game is 60. So you got to play better during other times of the game. I thought he actually played pretty well. Sometimes it's not always Bo. Sometimes it's the offense and the way the offense is functioning or not functioning. Obviously, the quarterback is the one that drives the engine in that regard. So we get back to talking about Bo. Offensive consistency has been the one bugaboo about this football team. They've been good at times. They've been better than good at other times, particularly in the fourth quarter. But you would like to see, because we talk about things like sustainability and we talk about things like, complementary football, and are you playing good complementary football at key times of the season, which for the Broncos very clearly now will be in the postseason. Now it's a question of where they end up getting to the postseason, how many games potentially they have at home, and then their ability to play good complementary football during those games. They're not there yet. I don't think that you can look at the Broncos and see a completed version of the team that you want to see in a month. I think Sean Payton on Truth Serum would even say that. But that's what you continue to work for each and every week. You take the things that you didn't do well the last week and you try to get better at them and try to be more consistent. So I still think that Bo Nix's best football is ahead of him. And that's saying something considering what he has been able to do this season, because you're right, Eric. There probably aren't 5 quarterbacks that you would take ahead of Bo Nix in the fourth quarter.
Right. I don't know what made me think of this, but I was like, because there's such an overwhelming feeling, and rightfully so, that the Broncos defense has been carrying this team this year. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's an unfair assessment.
No.
So I thought, maybe we can prop up the offense a little bit more and maybe chop down the defense a little bit. And I don't mean it in a mean way.
No, of course
not. Let's find a way to elevate the offense for the purpose of a conversation. So this is what I came up with. Which scenario do you feel most comfortable with? The Broncos playing this Sunday, let's just use the Raiders as an example because that's their opponent. And oh, by the way, if the Broncos do win on Sunday, they will hold the tiebreak over New England no matter what.
Right.
Let's just get that right out of the way.
Yeah.
All they have to do is beat the Raiders, which you would think that should not be that difficult. Here's a scenario, trying to pull up the offense a little bit.
Okay.
This Sunday, there's 2 minutes to go in the game. The Broncos are down by 4. 2 minutes to play. They start in the fourth quarter with the ball on their own 20.
Okay.
Scenario number 2, the Raiders are down by 2. 2 minutes to play. They have the ball at their own 20. Do you feel more comfortable with the offense being on the field, trying to win it with 2 minutes to go? Or do you feel more confident with the Broncos defense on the field, trying to hold the other team to not getting a field goal?
So the Broncos have got to go 80 in 2 minutes. How many timeouts do they all have timeouts? Okay, so that's a tough one.
Right, but that's my point.
That is a tough one.
And that was the point of the question.
Yes.
It's not a knock on the Broncos defense.
No.
It is really elevating the offense that every time the Broncos offense, at least in the last 9 games, right? Maybe the season. Looking at what has happened so far this year, Broncos offense has answered the bell every time.
Yeah.
The Broncos defense has not.
No.
They did lose 2 games. Now, and here's something else that just occurred to me. The Broncos this season have not lost a game this season in theory, regulation with the clock saying .01. Have not lost a game this season.
They haven't lost a game with time left on the clock.
Right.
Think about it. I mean, it's remarkable. I don't know who I would take in that situation. If you're given Bo Nix 3 timeouts.
Well, you know what? Here, I'm going to ratchet it up.
2 minutes. I'll go ahead and take the offense.
Okay, yeah, and I'm going to ratchet up even a little bit more. Let's fast forward to the Super Bowl. I've no idea. Let's say the Broncos make it. I've no idea who they are playing.
Right.
Let's say it's the Rams for the sake of argument. Same scenario with the Rams, 2 minutes to go, either side of the ball, Super Bowl on the line. You want Bo Nix in the offense on the field, or do you want the Broncos defense?
I think I'd take Bo Nix in the offense because you have the ball. You have the ball. You are controlling. You should be, in theory, able to control your destiny because you know what you're doing in that situation and the other guys don't. That's no knock on the defense at all. The defense always starts every possession in a deficit position,
right?
Because they don't know what the offense is trying to do. They may have an idea, and obviously they can react to it, and that's what great defenses do. That's what the Broncos defense does. They react to what they see, but they don't know for sure what is happening. When you're an offense, you're going on the field and you know what you're trying to accomplish. That gives them a bit of an advantage. Then when you add to the equation, you've got a quarterback and an offensive unit with the confidence that this unit is playing with, then you know what? You got to go with the demonstrated ability at that point, right? So you go to what your brain tells you you trust. And you trust Bo Nix in the last 2 minutes of a half or of a game. You just do. How many people out there are, look, you may be anxious. Sure, you're anxious at the end of a game. You want to see it happen. But how many people out there right now are not thinking every single damn time that the Broncos get the ball late in a close game that they're not going to score and figure out a way to win a game? They've done it for 9 straight games. At some point, you have to look at them, and maybe you're grumbling a little bit about the way that they're winning, but you got to look at them and say, but they're winning. They are winning, and I'm getting used to this. I'm now starting to expect it. That's a big thing.
You know, it's funny. We yesterday and other shows, we have talked about how there are similarities between John Elway and Bo Nix because of these comebacks, right? John Elway put up some pretty prolific numbers, different era. So when you look back and he completed 56% of his passes, Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame, and that was basically his completion percentage too.
Yeah.
You know, there were a couple of guys in the 80s that broke through completion percentage of 50%. That was Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and nobody else. They were the 2 outliers. But all these other Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the 1980s, they were about 85% completion percentage. Or not 85%. They were like 55 to 60% completion percentage. Maybe, just maybe, instead of saying Bo Nix is like Elway, maybe he's more like Jake Plummer. And that's a compliment too. Yeah, Jake never put up huge numbers.
No.
All he did was win.
Yeah.
That's it. All he did was win. And when you look at Bo Nix, all he does with his team is win. Now, granted, they have a great defense. But in 2005, when the Broncos went to the AFC Championship game, their defense was tremendous.
Yeah.
The offense was good. It wasn't great. They had a good running game. They had Rod Smith. They had some other nice players, good offensive line, Tom Nalen. But Jake wasn't lighting it up. I think, and I could be wrong on this, Alex, maybe you want to look this up. I think that Jake's was like 34-15 as a starter.
Yeah, he had a very strong winning percentage.
He was not known as a great comeback quarterback like Elway and now Nix, but all he did was win.
And it's very interesting that Jake Plummer may be amongst the biggest fans that Bo Nix has had from the day that he arrived. And that's when you start to think, okay, that's a dude that gets it. And he saw something immediately that he latched onto about Bo Nix, because he has been as solidly in his corner through thick and thin as anybody in Denver.
Yeah.
39-15 as a Broncos starter.
Wow.
So win percentage over 72%.
I think is Manning the only guy who's better?
Probably.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, as a Broncos starting quarterback. Correct.
And what's Bo Nix's winning percentage at this point? About 65?
Is his record like 20-9 or something?
It's something like that.
Yep.
I mean,
20-9, exactly.
20-9. So 20-7 in his last 27 starts.
Right.
Yep.
Because he lost his first 2. And then after that, all he's done is win.
And that's what the Avs are doing. They do nothing more than win.
That's it.
The Nuggets are in a little bit of a slump, but then again, look who they're missing.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about them right now. A little worried about them. You can't have 3 guys like that out of the lineup and expect to play winning basketball. I mean, even a team like Dallas can come in and punk you, which is exactly what they did. That's a little bit of a concern to me.
It's not overly concerning to me because I know what this team looks like when it's healthy.
Yeah, it's where I guess it boils down to where do you want to see the Nuggets get to in the regular season that helps them most for the postseason? Because I think the conversation about trying to keep up or at least be competitive with Oklahoma City in the regular season is getting to a point where you probably aren't going to have that conversation.
Oklahoma City's on pace to break Golden State's record
so it
for
ain't
the
gonna
best
happen.
regular season record of all time.
I mean, you could go win 60 games and still be 10, 12 games behind Oklahoma City.
Right.
I mean, think about that. So, but I don't know. I do think that David Adelman is a really smart leader.
Yeah.
I do think that he has a plan, and I believe in the plan. I like the way that he uses Jokić, but golly, you got to get healthy, and the Nuggets have got some real issues right now because it makes them. When you take those guys out, they're just defensively nowhere near the type of team they need to be.
One more quick thing before we jump. Currently, who is the best major college football coach in Colorado? Is it Troy Calhoun at Air Force? Is it Deion Sanders? Or is it Jim Mora Jr. with now Colorado State?
Air Force has fallen off a little bit here.
Calhoun has the longest
track record, and he's earned it. So I will give him the nod. I would probably go with Mora next, and then Deion Sanders. And I don't think it's like, I'm not saying that to be shocking, but Jim Mora just built back-to-back 9-win seasons at UConn, for God's sakes. I mean, playing so, and he's done it, and he had done a good job in his previous time at UCLA. He won a lot of games at UCLA. So, I'd go with that.
I'll tell you this about Jim Mora Jr. Any guy who gets hired and they talk about how they really wanted this job and they can't wait to, lead this team to greatness. And it's the standard stuff that you hear.
Yeah, it's fair. That's
at,
fair.
At press conferences. I can't listen. I could be wrong. Deion Sanders wants to be in Boulder. I believe.
Yes, I agree with you. I think he does too. Yes.
But I can't think of too many coaches after listening to their opening press conference who truly wanted to be at the place they got hired.
Yeah.
Literally that place. He wanted to be in Fort Collins. He wanted to be in Fort Collins for a long time.
Yeah. 3 years. And look, you and I were both Jay Norvell guys, and I make no apologies for it. I really liked Jay Norvell and thought that he was going to be a really good fit at Fort Collins.
Yep.
I think they found a better fit. And yes, I'm saying that in retrospect for the failure that Norvell had at the end. But this guy can coach, and he's proven it. And I think he will be it was a very inspired hire by the folks at Colorado State. I think they got a good guy.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.